travelling to the state of Karnataka. Remember, it's one of the swing states, Rahul, in this election, because last time the BJP won 25 out of 28. This time, if there is any state where the Congress has to make a breakthrough, it's Karnataka and get double digits. My India exit poll says no. The BJP is still holding on to Karnataka.
Not just that, of all the states in this country, according to the post-poll study put out by India Today and Access My India, the Modi impact was strongest in the state of Karnataka. And if, despite the presence of formidable state leaders like Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar, the results pan out the way it's being suggested by the India Today post-poll study, that really does raise very serious question marks about the inability to turn the presence of a state government into seats in a Lok Sabha context. Sagai Raj joins us now from there. Sagai is in Bengaluru, pitched battles being fought. Sagai, take our viewers through the preparations and what you've been hearing from both camps. The BJP has new leadership, BSY's son coming in, taking charge, so he also has a point to prove. And also, we'll know very soon how strong the Modi factor is in Karnataka, Sagai.
When it comes to both the faction, Congress and BJP are trying to prove their commitment towards the party, especially when it comes to Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. They are quite determined to secure good numbers of seats in the state of Karnataka in the general election to prove their leadership skill. On the other side, it is father-son duo, B.S. Yediyurappa and Vijayendra. B.S. Yediyurappa fought all the odds to get state BJP president post for Vijayendra. So they are also trying their level best to prove that their leadership skills in the state of Karnataka by retaining all those 25 seats. But how it is going to change? Probably once the general elections gets over in the state of Karnataka, the political dynamics might change, especially when it comes to Siddaramaiah. Rahul, as you rightly pointed out, that if at all, if India comes to power, so he might be escalated to the central government and he might be made a finance minister. But what will happen to DK Shivkumar? He'll be made a chief minister. If at all, if that doesn't happen, how it is going to change? How the DK Shivkumar's aspiration to become the chief minister will be put forth the
question then comes.
So probably all political dynamics might change post-general elections.
You know, that's the question, Rashid Kidwai. There are Congress chief ministers today, and there are, just a couple of Congress states at the moment in the country, all of whom are on notice. Revanth Reddy on notice in Telangana if the BJP emerges as party number one. Siddaramaiah on notice if the Congress doesn't do well in Karnataka. And Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu in Himachal Pradesh could well lose the chief ministership if the BJP wins the by-elections in Himachal Pradesh, the assembly. So for the Congress, it's not just about making a mark in the Lok Sabha, it's also potentially state which they are facing serious threat.
So, Rajiv, there are two things. One is that Congress leadership also has to set an example. I mean, in order to sort of, discipline any chief minister or question them, they also have to perform and perform well. That's where 75 par or 100 seats become
Is it 75 par or 100 par? Well, the BJP is very clear. They've said 400 par. Does the Congress talk about 75 par or 100 par?
So exit poll, beauty of exit poll, power of exit poll, it has reduced, from 100 par to 75 par.
The Congress wants 75 par. Preeti, where does this leave?
Increase.
Someone like Sukhvinder Sukhu, you've been speaking to him. I mean, you could have a Himachal Pradesh government out in a week's time if the BJP wins all the 6 assembly by-elections in Himachal Pradesh.
And that's what he fears, because all through the campaign, it was Sukhvinder Sukhu who was campaigning more than any of the other candidates of the 4 Lok Sabha seats, Rajdeep, because he really does fear that this could be a possibility. And what of Vikramaditya? Because, if you look at it, when all that went down in Himachal Pradesh, the spotlight was on Vikramaditya and family, on possibly being the ones who pulled away those MLAs.
Rahul, I just want to understand, 400 par, 75 par. We've now come down from Congress first starting this election telling us 100 par. Now, according to Rashid, they could end up being happy with 75 par. What about the BJP? Is it about 400 par? Is it about 350? Would they be happy? Let's assume they get 320, the lower end of some of the exit polls, with 50 or 40 to 50 to the NDA. That's 370. Would that be good for the BJP, or is it all about 400 par?
The number that the BJP top leadership had in their own calculation was somewhere in the range of 310 to 320. That's what they were aiming for. 370
for the BJP alone.
Yes. 370 is what they said to bolster everyone's morale. And the problem was that in typical psychological operation style, the opposition got consumed with the idea of 400 par. so many leaders from different opposition parties started asking or wondering. They got psyched out by this 400 par, and this is, typically, Shankar Iyer, what militaries do to their opponents. And here we saw that play out in a political context.
Yeah, clearly psychops, because what the BJP did was to scare the hell out of the Congress in terms of, and they used some of that in the change of constitution narrative and everything. But the Congress's migration, Rajdeep, from 100 par to 75 par or whatever, this is a very interesting election. The BJP is investing in the cash market, which means you have to put all the money in and get 400 seats. The Congress is in the hedge fund futures market. They say 75 mein hamara kaam chal jayega.
So just to take forward Rahul's point, I think BJP leadership's calculation was very, very simple, that we are going to lose 15-20 seats in the core states and we are going to win 30 to 35 seats in the non-core states, and that will basically bring them to 315 or 320. And the 370 was not just a target. 370 had a symbolism behind it, which is to basically remind the voters about abrogation of Article 370. And Rajat had mentioned this, that Prime Minister had conveyed to his party workers, I don't need much from you at the booth level. Just focus on getting 370 more votes
per
right?
booth.
So 370 is to also, like, PM plays on symbolism.
Is 370 therefore for the NDA? What the BJP will claim is, in a sense, their biggest victory. Not only have you grown, if you do get it, from 303 to say 320, but if your allies, and Chandrababu Naidu is a key element of that, to get to 370. Would 370 be seen as the biggest victory that the BJP has ever had?
Well, today I think any kind of a victory would be celebrated in the lawns of the BJP's headquarters as if it's a historic, truly an epochal moment in every which way that you can imagine. So the celebrations won't stop, and I believe...
is there a number though? Is there a number that matters?
I think crossing 350 or crossing the 2/3 mark so that BJP can at least ensure one nation, one election kind of reforms can be brought in. That would be an ideal case scenario.
So 2/3 is effectively 362. When you get 362 as an NDA, you are at 2/3, and then you can bring in major legislation
not
through the Lok Sabha.
See, Congress did create this confusion, and this might have impacted the Dalit votes, which we saw in the exit polls, increasingly going towards the India alliance. They were able to create this confusion that BJP is asking for 2/3 majority so that they can amend the constitution. So much so that I was sitting in certain international television discussions, and the anchors there were asking me that, does Modi want to change the constitution?
Interestingly,
so this kind of things have been seeded into the minds of a lot of people.
This is the election where the Samvidhan became like the Sita. Everyone out to try and save Sita. And the Samvidhan, the constitution, became like Sita in this election. Everyone going out trying to save it. And therefore, that again is something that people will now answer. Did they buy that narrative that the constitution would be changed, or did they reject it? The BJP counter-fired Rajdeep by saying, no, it's the opposition that wants to bring Muslim reservation. So that's really where it got down and dirty.
I think it also shows the fear that the opposition has of what Modi 3.0 will do. You see, I think it's not about constitution. It's their fear that a domineering Mr. Modi, with 362, let's assume that the BJP comes close to a 2/3 with the NDA if the exit polls are right, then the fear is that the entire political landscape will be dominated. Remember, there are a couple of opposition chief ministers, one former, one present in jail. You've been speaking to Arvind Kejriwal, and the fear, Preeti, that Arvind Kejriwal and his supporters have is that if the BJP comes with this overwhelming majority, what happens to us? What happens to the other opposition leaders? Today it's Kejriwal, tomorrow it could be Mamta, Vijay.
But that's fair. But when you talk about the constitution, why did it come to that? It wasn't just the opposition fear-mongering. No, you had the likes of the Meerut candidate Arun Govind, who went on record to say what he did. In Rajasthan, you had Jyoti Mirda, who said, "Humko agar 350 par aayenge, hum Samvidhan badlenge." So you did create that with the candidates who were there. It wasn't just
but the opposition tried to exploit that situation.
Of course, the opposition did it. Opposition did it.
That's why when Prime Minister gave this 370, 400 ka nara, the BJP leadership at the top should have said why they need this kind of number. Right? Like, if it was about one nation, one election, see, the reason confusion got created because they did not answer why, like, Achhe Din, you know why you need. 272 plus mission, you know why you need. But when you say 370, 400, you should also tell why you need that
number. The Prime Minister said, "Mera haath mazboot karo." He said, "Damdar sarkar banao." And now it's for the voters to decide whether they want to make his hands strong.